Hi, my name's Alicia, and this is my story. Growing up, we always went to church at the traditional points, Christmas, Easter. My mom did teach us a lot about praying at bedtime, but it became just kind of mundane. God was more of a wrathful God to me. He was angry if I didn't follow the 10 Commandments. That kind of followed me through my teenage years and into my 20s. When I was about 9 or 10, my parents divorced due to infidelity. After my dad left, unfortunately, he fell into alcoholism and drug use, which caused him to be in and out of my life, as well as my sisters. In that same time period, between 13 to 18, I met someone who decided to take advantage of that situation, and I was manipulated and abused, which created even more hurt and pain in myself, a lot of low self-worth. I became more cynical and less trusting of people because of what had happened to me. But I was able to move on, get my nursing degree, and I was able to, find a beautiful, wonderful husband, Matt. So we got married and we had 2 beautiful girls. And as I got older, my dad found out we had our first daughter in 2015. He decided he wanted to come back into my life. And so he started talking to me more, and he just showed up. It wasn't like a planned situation. I was very angry at him, like, how dare you do this, but when he did show up, I wasn't gonna leave him on the street either. So I did welcome him into my house, and he stayed with us for a good 10 months before we were able to relocate him to a place that could take care of him. Inside, it was a turmoil of a fight between wanting that dad and daughter relationship. He didn't come to my wedding. He wasn't there for my daughter's birth, So it was that longing, that desire, that hope. And it never came to fruition, unfortunately. But that was really difficult. That was a hard time. I was having my own health issues, depression, anxiety, thinking about how can I take care of him because I love him, but I can't because I don't want to get hurt. And what do you do with those sometimes when you don't have proper coping mechanisms or God in your life? You fall into addictions that you didn't think you would ever get into. Something though, at the end of that tunnel of darkness, I still felt a pull to just go to church and talk to God. And I was like, why would you want me? That was the feeling I had. Why would you want me? Like, look at how I've been treating people. I'm selfish, I'm angry, but something was pulling me. So I went to church for Lent. I'm gonna stop doing everything that I'm doing and focus on you, God. So I did. I took one of their devotionals. I took it, went home, and then I dedicated myself to just praying it every day. I would read it in the morning. And I remember there was one time during one of my devotionals that I read something like, you can't fully follow Jesus if you have hurt or anger in your heart and haven't forgiven people who have hurt you. And my dad just popped up in my mind, and I was like, oh, duh, like obviously my dad, So I realized I had to forgive my dad for everything. I was sitting in the patio and I was praying, but also listening to a song of gratitude. And out of nowhere, it was just this warm feeling just poured over me. And I just burst out crying because it was the most fantastic feeling I had ever felt. And it felt like almost floating, like a weight came off my shoulders. So from that moment on, it was like, okay, you're with me, Lord, you are with me all the time now. Like, this is amazing. And so I gave it all to God, and I was like, all right, what do I need to do? And he, on Easter Sunday, I went to go see my dad, and it was just the most peaceful moment that I had with him. And I remember feeling compassion for him and just love. But God gave me the strength to be able to be with him as he passed. And I'm so grateful for that moment, because even though it was hard, it was so hard, I was not alone. So I continue to feel just joy and hunger for Jesus. I am God's child, and that's all that matters now. So I joined Rooted at Shepherd just to grow even more and learn more about who he is and what he wants from us. And then I saw how Shepherd does the river baptisms. And that just felt like, oh my gosh, I have to do this to show my faithfulness to him after his faithfulness to me my whole life. If I were to summarize God's work in my life, he is absolutely faithful. He is so faithful to you. And no matter what you're going through or how hard your life is, he is there with open arms, ready to take you in if you are willing to open your heart.